guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new around here, I make videos documenting my project life / pocket scrapbooking pages, mainly using my older stash of journal cards and ephemera. A lot of them are from Studio Calico and Callie Perky. I do subscribe to Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit. So what this all means is that you'll mainly see older things that are most likely not going to be available for sale anymore. I do my best to list all the things that I use on my blog, wanderlustdocumented.com, and some of the older things you can find in Facebook groups such as Project Life Shop and Swap groups and Etsy. For my March title card, I used the rainbow striped card from the Project Life Core Kit by Emily Lay called the Strawberry Edition. The digital version is still available online. The March cutout is, I believe, from Studio Calico, and I don't know how many moons ago that was. I always passed it over because I didn't think I would ever use it, but I love the way this turned out, and I'm inspired by the color choices for the rest of this spread. March 1st was the last time that we went out with friends before quarantine, and we went to dinner at a Spanish cafe where you had to order the paella ahead of time. You can't tell from this photo, but it was huge. We split it and still had leftovers for 2 days. It was so good. For this photo, I reached for my favorite gold alphas, but since I already had a lot of colorful stuff planned, I didn't want to introduce gold into the equation. Instead, I used the white alphas by Callie Perky. I was afraid the white wouldn't be as noticeable, so I positioned most of the letters to be on the parsley. I recently reorganized my ephemera and chipboard stickers by categories. This one is home and food. I started with the reorg because I was watching the first hybrid class by Ali Edwards, and she recommended we organize our digital files, which led me to organize all the files on my MacBook. Then the ephemera, then the stamps. By the way, I chose the Eating Together sticker because of the plain background. I felt like it would blend in more than the white sticker would. For the journal card, I wanted to write the stories of the 3 photos, so I looked for a card with 3 boxes. I chose the white card because I wanted to add some stamping to it. The numbers 1, 2, and 3 in bright colors. The stamp set is by Callie Perky and it is called Get It. And FYI, Layout by Mail has a stamp set similar to this. It's called This Life Stamps and it will be linked below and in my blog. And the ink pads I used for the numbers 1 and 2 were also Callie Perky from the Outdoor set, which is still available on heroarts.com. I didn't realize before I stamped it, but the number 3 is bigger than the 1 and the 2. It wasn't a huge deal, but it kinda irked me, just a little bit. So it wasn't user error, I did not stretch out the stamp. The ink I used for the number 3 is a Prima Marketing chalk edger in turquoise stone. For the date, I used the One Canoe 2 roller stamp with Memento London Fog ink. So this spread starts out with another 3-story journal card. On this day, I had 3 appointments, 2 of which were at first, so I wanted to document that. I got lash extensions and I had a mammogram. The other appointment was to get attachments on my teeth for Invisalign. This was actually the second time this has happened, so seriously, if you're thinking about Invisalign, go to an orthodontist. I'm continuing the trend here with the black and white journal cards, and since the background is black on this one, it wouldn't be easy to stamp the date. So I used the March from the Ali Edwards Stories by the Month kit word phrase stickers from March, and the 4 was from a Studio Calico word phrase sticker set. What I originally wanted to do was use the Artist Gather retro flip numbers to add the time, but they were too big. So I pulled out the photo box in which I have numbers and days, and I found these labels with numbers that went all the way up to 32. I was super stoked because most things don't go past 10, and I had 1 appointment at 11. I wanted to use AM and PM stamps, and I had the circle stamp by Hero Arts and Kelly Perky. It's the Stamp and Cut planner set, but it was too busy. These labels also reminded me of little tags, and I have a small hole punch, so I tested it. The hole seemed a little big, but I wanted to make sure. I couldn't let go of the AM PM idea, so I thought, what if I just write it on there myself? And I liked the way it turned out. I pulled out the Everyday Stickers photo box because I remembered seeing a chipboard sticker with lashes on it last week, and I wanted to use it on the selfie. The dilemma was whether I should use the black circle with the white lashes or the white circle with the blush lashes. I put that decision on hold. It's finally time to adhere the time labels onto the journal card. By the way, I'm using the Mini Tombow permanent adhesives. I wanted to make sure that they line up and are centered. I cut off the excess using an X-Acto knife, and I will be saving the remainder of the labels for a later time. That moved, right? It freaked me out, so I pushed down harder on my ruler. As per usual, I can't let you guys waste 30 seconds on watching me write. Let's tape these two together so they don't do the pocket shuffle. This journal card is from the March Stories by the Month kit, and because the journal area is kind of big, I decided to put 2 stories in there. Before I started planning this, I wrote down the notes from this month because of the timeline you guys will see later on in this video. Maya was being super cute waiting for me in the craft room while I was working out one morning. She loves the fresh air. I used a heart instead of an arrow to point to the photo for the story, and as you can see, these hearts are from Laura by Laura. The second story was about my first ever perfect week on my Apple Watch. I actually closed all 3 rings for 7 days straight. It has to be Monday to Sunday though, and that was a big deal for me. I made these stickers for the one little word practice for March. If you're a Mario fan, you might know that March 10th is now Mario Day. The abbreviated March and the 10 make it look like Mario altogether. I love this illustration that I found online, and I can't remember where it's from. And I love Mario games, so I wanted to include this in there. While we're talking about Mario, I want to document the games I was playing at the beginning of March, which were Animal Crossing Pocket Camp and Mario Kart Tour. My husband, my sister, my brother-in-law, and I all play Mario Kart on our mobile devices, and we love it. We even have a group chat for it. When I was planning this card, I was going to put the Animal Crossing in the black box on this journal card and the Mario Kart one in the white box, which was bigger. The problem became blocking out the text, and I tried a couple of things, and I thought about making just a plain black card. The circle stickers were a little too big. My idea was to use the word phrase stickers that said something like currently playing, but there was only play, not playing. So I thought, okay, well, maybe daily play or everyday play. And I changed my mind about the black card. So I just flipped the way the photos would lay on the card, and it would naturally block out the text. Now I'm debating on the color combination for everyday play. I couldn't decide, so I adhered the photos. Everyday play or play every day. I make sure that the position of the photo and the card are still right. And because the Animal Crossing logo is so busy, I wanted it under the photo of Maya, which wasn't as busy as the Remember This card. Still undecided about the lashes, so let's tuck them in and go to the next page. This journal card says, here's what happened this month, and it is from the March Stories by the Month kit. I used this one because of the green 7-Up box and the photo next to it. So what happened this month was that an employee from another office came to my husband's office, and this employee had come in contact with someone who had tested positive for COVID-19. So my husband, his teammate, along with people from that side of the building, all had to self-isolate. Lucky for us, we have a 1-bedroom apartment on the ground floor. My husband called me on his way home, and I prepped all the necessities for him to stay in the apartment, including some extras like soda and booze. It was such a stressful time for me because of everything that was going on, plus not being able to have my husband by my side. And that's why I used Kelly Purkey's stamp that says "Tough Stuff" from the Work in Progress set. I stamped it using the Memento London Fog ink on some white cardstock. I trimmed it and stapled it using the tiny attacher. Anyway, that employee ended up testing negative, so they all went back to work and real life after 1 week. Even though it sucked, we still had a little bit of fun because my husband would ask me to locate things in the house, such as the Zelda amiibos that I hadn't seen in like forever. So this photo is of the Zelda amiibos waiting to be picked up. I added some journaling on a craft paper label sticker that I got from either Michael's or the Target Dollar Spot. I placed the label more towards the middle because I didn't want to block the railing so that it's obvious that it's upstairs. One project that I had started on before my husband was isolated was to swap out the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con shells for some light pink ones. I started with the right one, which was the hard one, and I quit, so my husband took over. But there was something wrong with the right one, so while he was in quarantine, I decided to fix them, and I did. I added some journaling to another craft paper label, and I added it to the photo. The Story of Right Now card is also from the March Stories by the Month kit, and this is a photo from when my husband was cleared to go back to work and came back upstairs. I adhered the photo a bit higher so we would have a little bit more length on the photo. I added the date and some journaling. I trimmed the excess of the photo with an X-Acto knife. I'm thinking about adding some chipboard stickers to my husband's photo, but I'll wait until the end. A bit of journaling to the photo of my iPad, which is just before a body combat workout. The indecisiveness comes from not wanting to block the body combat at the top or the running shoes. This is a screen capture from the new Animal Crossing game. In real life, I didn't get an Animal Crossing Switch since my husband and I each have our own, but I did get myself one in the game. I added a bit of journaling onto a craft paper label and added it to the top right side of the photo. Back to the chipboard stickers, I'm thinking a heart for my husband and yes, for the perfect month on my Apple Watch. But then I found a sticker that said perfect, so I chose that instead for the Apple Watch info. I designed the timeline for March because it started out pretty normal. So basically, the teal boxes are about Germany and Europe, the light orange boxes are about my husband and me, and the orangey red boxes are about my immediate family. All the photos are about us here. I designed it in Illustrator and printed it out on the Canon PIXMA Pro 100 on 13 by 19 paper. It was challenging to cut it out because I didn't have a paper trimmer big enough and I had to use a ruler and an X-Acto knife. Plus, I was out of ink on that printer, so I couldn't print out any more that day. The timeline will be split in the middle, so these spreads are going to go on the front and the back of the timeline. As I was editing this, I was like, duh, why didn't you just fold it? Man, I could have saved myself so much stress. I'm taping the timeline together with washi tape because I want to make sure that they are even when I punch holes through them. I left some extra space on the other two spreads for the holes since I completely misremembered the measurements while I was designing the timeline, and the timeline sides were too wide for a page protector. I adhered them to the back, minding the washi tape. I was going to use the Project Life pocket page to mark the holes before I punched them, but the top and bottom holes were so big that I decided to use one of the inserts that came with the album. It was beer clock, and let me tell you, I needed it. I'm using the Crop-A-Dile Power Punch, and I had no issues cutting through 4 pieces of photo paper. Now on to removing the washi tape. Let's move the beer to a safer spot while I clean up the edges. These are some of the photos of the cats that didn't make it into the spreads. They're 3x8. The Hello Sunshine is from In a Creative Bubble, and I added one line of journaling to the other 2 photos. One says, "What the fur?" because Maya kept having white fur stuck between her claws, and the other one says, "Loving this," because lap time is quite rare for me. I added a pink Avery Ultra tab and cut it down because it's really wide. I just got the This Is Me stamp set from Everyday Explorers in the mail. I stamped the This Is Me Today stamp on a label with the pink Kelly Purkey ink and adhered it to the photo. I'm looking for a sticker for the photo of my sister and my 3.5-year-old nephew playing Loteria, and I found Captured. I wanted to stamp something on the tab, so I grabbed the Love Story stamp set by Kelly Purkey. I prepped the stamp using an eraser and used StazOn black ink. Maya needs a little Felicity Jane heart that won't stand out too much. And I finally went with the white and blush lashes sticker. It really could have been either one. I'm adding some Avery Ultra tabs to the timeline and stamping Right Now and Real Life from the This Is Me set by Everyday Explorers. I did one on the back because originally I was going to adhere it straight on the photo, but then I decided to pull the photos apart and stick them in between the glued pages instead. One last glance and I decided that the Hello Sunshine's a bit too busy for this view, so I swapped them out. And I like how this flows from left to right. The round stamps are in a Creative Bubble, and so is this little switch icon. I finally add the perfect sticker on top of the pocket page, as well as the yes sticker to the photo of my husband. Well, this is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to tell YouTube that you want more of these videos, click the like button below. Subscribe if you haven't already. I am thinking maybe part 1 of April of last year when we went to Amsterdam, or April of this year for the next video. Let's vote down below. Until then, bye!